My tripod broke as I was setting up to shoot this episode, so the camera is precariously balanced, and I can't actually lock the head down, so it might just flip at some point during the episode. Let's hope not. Welcome to Pegwarmers. I'm Kevin, and I'm here to talk about toys. Today, I'm doing an episode about the GIJoe classified news from San Diego Comic-Con. Wasn't really what I was planning on doing this week, but it just made total sense because there's a bunch of new news, and we got to talk about it. There were quite a few new figures revealed at Comic-Con, whether they were digital renders or actual sculpts. Some stuff went up for pre-order right away. I'm going to try and hit all that stuff, as well as talk about the Cobra Rattler Haslab. First up, there were two 60th anniversary figures. The Action Marine Sniper, a female figure that comes with a sniper rifle and a ghillie suit. A lot of cool deco and equipment. Pretty cool figure. I was hoping the Action Marine would get a little bit more of a traditional release, but maybe they thought that was going to be too close to the Action Soldier. It specifically said Sniper on the product information, so I don't know if they will do another Action Marine at some point. I'm trying to not collect the 60th anniversary line. They are great figures and really cool, like troop builders if you're into that. But this line is getting big, and I'm trying to set some limits. And since they aren't like named characters, I passed on the earlier ones, and so I'm going to pass on the Sniper as well. There's also a 60th anniversary Halo jumper. They almost got me on him. I like the idea of a Halo jumper. I like Ripcord from the GIJoe team. He has face makeup on that makes a lot of people think he looks a lot like Hit and Run. Will we get a Hit and Run at some point in this line? I think we probably will. I think this line's got legs. I think we're going to see a lot of characters eventually, so I'm not worried about buying him as a Hit and Run stand-in for now, but he's a fantastic figure. Looks like he uses some of Airborne's parts, and maybe some of the same gear that will come with that Night Force Ripcord at some point. They showed off Raptor. He is one of the classic Cobra weirdos. The original figure I picked him over Roadblock version 2 as a kid because he had a pet. This one still has a pet. The pet's actually got a name this time, General Ledger. This is not very retro inspired. It's a very modernized version of Raptor. He has wings with turbines in them like Vulture from the MCU, and there's articulation so they can fold around him like Falcon from the MCU. All great design elements. I think the figure looks really good. I am going to pass on him. I don't know if we'll ever see a classic release of him on the vintage card, but that's more of what I would want, personally. If I see him on clearance or something like that, I will definitely get him then, but I am not pre-ordering Raptor just because they wanted to go realistic with him and kind of tech him up, which tends to be kind of that classified aesthetic, but the wings look too small to me to be able to maintain flight even with the turbines in them, so it's like, if you're gonna go real, you gotta go real. He's a great-looking figure, and I'm glad that they're willing to embrace these goofy characters. Road Pig. I did pre-order Road Pig. Road Pig isn't perfect in my eyes, but I do like him a lot. They are kind of plussing him up because he's a bigger figure, so they're giving him a lot of extra accessories and a pet canine, Raucous, and some extra accessories. He's got a special battle club, as well as his Cinder Block 1. He's got a helmet. He's got a riot shield, so they're really kind of souping him up for combat there, but I feel like they made him porky instead of built. He definitely still looks big and powerful, but not in the same way as the vintage figure. The vintage figure was tall and was chiseled, and I like that look for the character. Of course, they added a bunch of tattoos to him because that's what this line loves to do, but I don't mind it as much on the Dreadnoks because they are the guys that should be tatted up, in my opinion. So I did order Roadblock. I think he's pretty cool. I would have liked a more menacing face. He has sort of a yelling face, and the designers are really excited that he has some gold teeth in there. I wish he was gritting his teeth. I wish he looked really angry, and also I wish he looked really built. But overall, I think he's a pretty decent update. Another pack that I was a little surprised by, but is kind of a cool thing. I don't know the official title. Was it Steel Core or Gold Steel Core and Twilight Guard? It's a Steel Brigade figure with the gold helmet. So that's the updated version, the 92 super rare gold head Steel Brigade figure, using their new naming convention because somebody took the name Steel Brigade. And a black version of the Crimson Guard. Obviously, you can't call Crimson Guard if they're not wearing red, unless they're the Python Patrol Crimson Guard, and then they wear yellow and still get called Crimson Guard. But the Twilight Crimson Guard has some history with the Shadow Guard, which were black versions of those figures released in the 2000s era using the Agent Faces removable helmet style sculpt that existed. So I think he's cool. I think the gold head's pretty cool. I don't know if you have to have them if you're a more traditional collector, but if you want like a squad leader for your other squads, these would be great. If you want an army build, you can buy a bunch of packs and you'll have a whole bunch of Gold Head Steel Brigades and a whole bunch of Twilight Guards. And so it's a decent pack. I really like the cape they added to the Crimson Guard uniform. I think he looks really cool. They really decked that set out with accessories. We also got some digital renders, some sort of first views of some of these characters. They showed off Xandar. They are really checking off the Dreadnoks. The Dreadnoks must sell well, or they just love them on the design team. But I really like Xandar. This is one of those classifieds where they aren't 100% following the vintage figure, but the updates seem right to me. So they gave Xandar like a tactical vest this time, instead of him just having a few straps across his chest. I think that's a pretty decent update there. He still wears his jeans. He still has the pink tattered cloth around his neck. He's got his bright orange hair. I think he's a good-looking figure. He comes with, pretty decent accessories for the character. I think it's a great update, and it's definitely a character that I'll be picking up. Leatherneck, the GIJoe Marine, one of several GIJoe Marines. I think this is a nice update to the figure. I really want to get a wetsuit to go with him, but they've done, Torpedo already. They've done the Cobra Eel, so I have a feeling wetsuit's coming at some point. He looks pretty good. This is one of those figures where I'm very happy with the classified look. It looks similar enough to the original figure that I don't necessarily need the retro card version or something like that. Whereas there are some characters that I just would prefer them to be more traditional. But he looks great. So, really happy with that figure. It's interesting he comes with safety glasses, soldiers often wear, to protect their vision from discharging magazines or debris or whatever that could happen in a firefight. But he looks great. And then we get the Cobra Claw, a new vehicle. This Cobra Glider comes with a female driver, which makes me think of the Ferret, where they did the female figure. It's interesting they chose to include a female pilot with the claws, like they included a female driver with the Ferret. I would, in a lot of ways, prefer male Cobra troopers and Cobra vehicle drivers just because that's kind of more traditional, and that's kind of what I expect out of a Cobra forces is a lot of generic dudes that have been duped by Cobra Commander to be part of his army. But I have said with other toy lines, less popular toy lines, or toy lines they just never made the females, include the girl with the vehicle, with the play set, right? It's a way to get them out there and not have them clogging pegs. And so maybe this is really smart. It's a way for Hasbro to get us some female troopers, but they never have a standard trooper helmet, and they don't give you the pilot helmet for a male so you could, change places. And I think that would be the kind of the ultimate thing, is if I could take one of these female pilots and make her a female trooper, and then take one of my male troopers and make him the pilot to this if I wanted to. I think that would be kind of a cool thing, but I guess it's accessories that maybe some people couldn't use, because maybe they don't have the male trooper, and that might be confusing. With adult collector lines, sometimes they'll do that. Mattel, packed in on Matty Collector a head that went to an older figure, but this is a retail line, so maybe that doesn't work as well. But it's a fantastic looking glider. The female trooper looks great. She comes with 2 different heads, I think, and a helmet, or maybe 3 heads and a helmet. So you can have some diversity to the ranks there. It has some blast effects. It has some weapons for the pilot. I think that's all really great. I will definitely be ordering a Cobra Claw. The Hasbro PulseCon exclusive is going to be Starduster, classic mail-away figure. I think he makes for a good con exclusive. I definitely want to get a Starduster. I kind of figured Starduster was coming eventually. He was an old kind of reuse of parts figure, and we have Duke to get the chest. We have Steel Brigades came with jump jet packs, right? So they have the pieces to kind of create this character. He's popular, because he was a mail-away figure, so he's got a little mystique. So I think this is a great idea, and I hope he's not hard to get. Speaking of which, when are they going to put the was once a man Cobra Commander up for sale? Is he truly a con exclusive? Will there be extras for sale? I want one so bad, but have not heard anything about them going up for sale besides, getting a code at the show. The Transformer GIJoe crossover line continues with Cup as the triple T, including Sergeant Slaughter and Leatherneck. So 2 Marines and the Drill Sergeant Transformer all packed together. Great combination. That looks really good. I hope people are able to get a hold of them and they don't sell out instantly. They actually go on sale shortly based on when I'm filming this, but it'll be past that point when it's released. 2 other classified figures that got name dropped were Heavy Duty and Law & Order. Pretty excited about Law & Order. I hope they keep him fairly traditional. There were a couple of retro line figures mentioned. Rock and Roll, who received the classified treatment and is a great figure but doesn't really look like his original figure. Definitely would be a welcome addition in that retro card line. Dr. Mindbender, I'm wondering what they're going to do with him to make him different for the retro card. Obviously, you won't have some of the additional accessories the first one came with, but the first one was pretty true to the retro look. And they also mentioned Cobra Viper. That'll be good. We could use the Cobra Viper. We could use his original main line look. I'm very excited for that. I wonder how different it'll be from the Vipers they've released in Classified so far. I am going to have to fight the urge to buy a whole bunch of them to replace the Classified ones in my collection, because retro cards where I'm at. There was also a tease of a clawed foot. I'm hearing some rumors. People are thinking maybe the Fatal Fluffies. That'll be interesting if they go with something so goofy from the cartoon in Classifieds, but they, I'm sure, could do a great job of it. The last main thing I want to talk about from that line that was announced at the convention, of course, is the Cobra Rattler. Now, I had been psyching myself up because this had been leaked. Like, one of the designers wore a Rattler t-shirt at a press event before this, and there were some photos leaked online from like a research group. The Rattler is fantastic. It's a great classic Cobra vehicle. Like, I am in full support of them picking that, but I personally am trying to get away from buying $300 and $400 toys. I have the Super 7 Thundercats Thunder Tank sitting down here in my basement that I kind of have a lot of buyer's remorse on. Like, it's really cool, but it just sits there now that I have it and took it out of the package. I have the Turtle Van, I have the Hiss Tank, and they look great, but they just kind of sit there, and you can stand your guys around them or hide the guys inside them, which I don't want to do. They take up a lot of space, and the plane is going to be big, right? The Dragonfly's coming. So I was like sort of trying to talk myself out of it, and I saw some of the digital renders, and I thought maybe the shape didn't quite look right. Then I saw footage from the showroom floor at SDCC, and man, it looks pretty good. I'm probably gonna get it. I have not pre-ordered. I didn't jump in. I think the first tier patches is a crap edition. I don't want patches. I don't want junk to sit around. It's bad enough when it was like 50 plug-in extra accessories, extra sticker sheets, extra patches, extra like stuff is kind of annoying to me. It's, what do you do with it? You know, you just squirrel it away somewhere and never look at it again. The figures for tiers are great, and I get it. The Rattler, you can't really plug things into a plane like you could the Hiss Tank to like beef it up. So they couldn't do that tier, and so maybe they're just trying something different. But the Wild Weasel figure that's coming with it looks great, and then with other tiers, they're going to do a Cobra Gunner to put in the back. He looks great. And then a Baroness pilot figure, because she famously rode in the back gunner seat for the GIJoe comic book issue where Ace and Wild Weasel have the dogfight, and Lady J and the Baroness are like upset that they don't finish the other one off, and the two guys fly past each other and salute. It's a great issue of the comic, and she looks fantastic. A very interesting version of her, but we do have a lot of Baronesses. I don't know if we'll get to that tier. She looks great. I wouldn't mind having her, but I wouldn't be devastated. It's not quite like, oh, I need this character. It's a new character that they probably will never release otherwise. That kind of a thing. So, you know, we'll see what happens. It's doing well, as all the GIJoe Kickstarters do, or the Haslabs, and I'm really proud of the Joe community for supporting these lines so, you know, vehemently. It's great. it's really great that they can design something cool, put it out, and we'll buy it. Since we're talking about G.I. Joe classifieds, I want to show off the Cobra Ferret for new to the collection. This is the most recent G.I. Joe classified vehicle. They did a fantastic job on this. It looks a lot like the vintage one with some, slight modifications. The gun's a little different. The missiles and their extension posts here are optional, which I think is great. People want to go a little bit more realistic. The steering yoke and the gun aren't connected like on the old one, and that's fine. And they created an all-new driver, which I kind of alluded to earlier in the episode. The Ferret looks great. Dark blue plastic, red details, spinning tires. I'm not sure. I didn't check to see if these are the Vamp tires. It wouldn't surprise me if they are, but also I think I put the one on backwards because it doesn't spin good. There's definitely, the directions tell you which way the tire treads are supposed to go, but I didn't notice it beforehand. And I have 2 tires on in one direction and 2 tires on in the other direction. I don't know why this one doesn't roll good, but I think they're like, once they're on, they're on. So I think I'm just going to have to live with the fact that this one wheel doesn't spin as nicely as the other ones. Oh well. The back compartment, I was a little disappointed. I couldn't seem to figure out how to get that to open. They did put like a little luggage rack on the back there, so I guess that's to stow your gear, though, instead of having the compartment in the back, which the classic one had. But overall, it looks really good. There's some articulation in the axles there to let it bounce over some terrain. I think it just looks really good, and obviously we're getting a Tiger Force version coming out, and that's a smart move on their part. So that's the Ferret ATV, and it comes with the Ferret Scout figure, another female Cobra driver. She has all new like dirt bike armor and a dirt bike helmet. It has a nice little Cobra aesthetic to it with little fangs. The helmet is removable, and then she's still masked. I don't know whether this is the same head and mask we're going to see on the Cobra Claw's pilot. I think it's very possible. They look similar, but I haven't studied it. And that makes sense. If they're going to make a female driver body, that they would plan it to be used for multiple vehicles that they're coming out with. She has holsters on her body to hold 2 pistols and a knife. So she's armed up for combat if she gets jumped in the woods and doesn't have the ferret anymore or needs to fight on base or whatever. But it's a good-looking figure. I'd like to see a male version of this at some point down the road, just to, have for the ranks. But I have a feeling we won't see that, because unless they're going to reissue this or put a figure that looks exactly the same, like with the dirt bike helmet with another vehicle at some point, it probably won't happen. But I love this. We've had a couple bikes. We've had a Jeep now. The 4-wheeler is great. It makes me want other small vehicles. I'd really like to see them try and do the Armadillo or the Devilfish in this scale. Those both might be slightly bigger than the 4-wheeler. I'm not sure if there's anything else quite this size that would be this perfect for the line. But I really do like what they're doing with classifieds. Even if every figure isn't exactly what I want, overall, the aesthetic is great, the playability is great, and the selection has been really great. In the comments down below, let me know what your favorite announcement was from SDCC, from G.I. Joe, or some other line. There definitely were a lot of other cool things announced that I didn't mention in this video from other toy lines. Comic-Con is always a hotbed of news for toy collecting stuff. I love all of it. So do me a favor, hit the like button, share this video with a toy collecting friend. If you want to support the show further financially, you can consider joining us on Patreon. But thanks for hanging on the peg with me.